died, my family drove up to her house to clean it out. While we were there, I found a very pretty necklace. It was a small globe on a gold chain. And when no one was looking, I picked up the necklace and hid it till we got home. I started to wear it every day and every night. At night, I would have horrible dreams about my grandmother. In the worst dream I've ever had, she was driving my family and I somewhere. She got up and she killed my entire family. Then she sat down next to me and turned into dust. All that was left was her pile of ashes and the necklace. And the next day, my mom and I were in a car crash. And needless to say, I was wearing that necklace. But neither of us were seriously hurt. When my other nightmares started coming true, I quickly disposed of the necklace. Since then, I haven't had a nightmare. The Ghost of the Red Lady. It happened to me when I was still in my 3rd year of high school. One night, our director decided to have a sleepover in the school because it would be our acceptance day tomorrow. Our school was known to be haunted, but I didn't believe it. Each room was named after saints. The 2nd year classroom was called St. Paul, and it was located 2 rooms before what we called the comfort room. I decided to go down to the comfort room alone, since I was familiar with the place already. The surroundings were dark, and the only light that I could see was the one located in the comfort room. When I was going back to our quarter, I passed by St. Paul's room. It was open and dim, and the window was open too. And at the front of the window there was a small cabinet, and a figurine of St. Paul and a small flower were above it. I stopped by to close the room since no one was going to use it, but what I didn't notice at first was the lady standing beside the cabinet. She was just a silhouette at first glance, so I paused for a while staring at the lady who's standing there facing the window. After a few minutes, she started turning back to me. When I finally saw her face, it was red and it was covered with blood. And her gown and veil, they were also covered with blood. Upon seeing her from the door, I felt a chill down my spine, and I ran as fast as I could to get away from the room. When I finally reached the quarter, one of my friends asked me, "What happened?" I told him what I saw, but they didn't believe me. So I went back to St. Paul's room with my friends and saw no one. Until now, I can still see her bloody face inside my head, but I'm trying to ignore it. Hide and seek. I was 6. My 3 cousins and I used to play hide and seek in my aunt's house. My aunt was already old and sick at the time, but her house was the only place with good hiding spots, and we lived near there anyway. One day while we were playing, it was my turn to be it, so I turned around and faced the door of my aunt's room, started to count up to 20. 1, 2, 3. Once I got to 12, I heard a creepy, high-pitched laugh. At first I thought it was my cousin's, but it sounded a bit different. Like she was partly crying and partly laughing. Once I got to 20, I started to look for them and found 2 of them in the kitchen. We searched for our missing cousin but couldn't find her. Finally we shouted that we gave up and she could come out already. But after a moment of complete silence, all we heard was a laugh. The same one I heard before, but it was coming from behind the curtains. "Hey, come out already," one of my cousins said. "No," it replied. We walked closer to the curtain and saw a pair of dirty feet sticking out. "Hannah," I yelled, "come out already." At the exact same moment, my cousin Hannah stepped out from the bathroom from behind us and yelled, "All right, fine." Everyone else had the exact same thought. If you were in there, who was that behind the curtain? We all turned to the curtain and pulled it open, but nobody was there. We could still hear the girl's high-pitched laugh ringing in our ears, and we swore never to play hide-and-seek in my aunt's house ever again. The Man in All Black. I used to live in Moreno Valley. I was there from birth until the age of 4. I used to sleep in the same room as my parents, but in my own crib. My crib was near the walkway, going toward the bathroom, and in that walkway there were closets on each side of the wall that both had sliding mirror doors. One night, I had woken up in the middle of the night, and I saw a man in all black, wearing a black suit with a black hat, a black cape, and he was staring dead at me in my crib. My parents were both asleep. While this man was staring at me so hard, for some reason, I knew not to show any fright, but I was just a really small baby. I really wished to know who he was, and why was he staring just at me? My mother was doing laundry in the middle of the night, while my 2 brothers, father, and I were all asleep. She was doing our laundry in the garage, and she felt something or someone push her in her back, feeling a finger push right into her back. She turned around fast, but nothing was in her presence. She ran out of the garage. She got creeped out and didn't do the laundry till the morning. Then, one time we had a clock that was in the kitchen. It was plain and round. My mother, she had a cross clock. So she took down the plain white circle clock and she replaced it with the cross clock. The next day we find out the cross clock is in the trash and the circle clock was back on the wall.